Welcome to Learning Unit number 4. In Learning Unit number 4, we're going to talk about the influence of culture on health. Culture impacts patient communication, adherence to medication, and family support. This week, we're going to define culture, and we're going to discuss how it is related to health. We're going to discuss several concepts from anthropology that are critical, really, for understanding how health and culture are related. And we're also going to discuss why some cultural health practices continue, even though they are harmful to health. So by the end of this learning unit, you're going to gain an understanding of the role of culture in global health. And you're going to be able to describe the factors that influence health behaviors and ways to elicit behavioral change. You're going to do that in a number of ways. First of all, let me make sure you realize you do not need to complete the independent or the IHI module, which is QI 101, this week. I moved that assignment into Learning Unit number 9. And the reason I moved that assignment is I really want to take this week and focus on two things. I want to assure that you do your readings in Skolnick, our textbook, Chapter 7. And the other thing that you're really going to work on this week is looking at what are the requirements, what are you going to be doing, and then starting on your opposing viewpoints paper. Now, your opposing viewpoints paper is not due at the end of this learning unit. It's due at the end of next learning unit. But I wanted to give you the opportunity to really understand what you will be doing, how you will be doing it, and why you're doing it. So within that assignment, it includes, and we're going to do two things, watching the video that I made on searching the library's databases, because you're going to have an article, a peer-reviewed journal article. So I've got a short but informative video on searching the library's database, and then you're going to begin your work. The work for assessing whether you understand the content shared by our author in Chapter 7 is going to be assessed by quiz number 4. And your discussion board posting is going to show how you've already started on your opposing viewpoints paper. So we're going to tie those together. So you're watching this video, which I'm going to explain your opposing viewpoints paper. And here is the quiz for week 4. And you're going to have unlimited time to complete the quiz, but you do need to complete it all in one sitting. In other words, you can't start it and then come back, okay? Just like in the past. A very good video by David Williams. Dr. David Williams speaks to us about how racism makes us sick. Very informative, evidence-based, and I think you're going to learn a lot from Dr. Williams. So then let me show you two things, first of all, or a couple things. Let me scroll down. Let's go down to your discussion board. And it's after viewing the UNFPA's 2020 State of the World Population Report, you're going to share about your opposing viewpoints paper. So, in other words, to do your discussion board number 4, you're going to go to at least two things. You're going to click on this World Population Report, and you're also going to watch that video that I told you I made about searching the library database. All these things are both included in your opposing viewpoints paper folder, which you can also reach by going to your tool tab on the left-hand side. So it's all going to come together, I promise, but there's a few pieces. So let's click on this folder. Again, your opposing viewpoints paper is due at the end of next learning unit. So when we click on this, It tells you the purpose of the assignment. It tells you when it's due and many points it's worth. So it's worth 100 points. It's a significant assignment for this course. So when we work and learn about global health, we often encounter viewpoints that are different from our own. So the ability to appreciate without judgment viewpoints that are different from our own is really critical to being able to provide culturally competent care and really to allow for optimal patient outcomes. There are cultural practices that we're going to learn about. You're going to choose one of two that are physically and psychologically harmful, especially to women and children. So in order to help bring about positive change and positive outcomes for that population, it's really essential that we better understand why did these practices even developed, and even more importantly, try to understand why they continue. This assignment does not ask you to accept someone else's viewpoint. It does not ask you to support practices that are harmful to health, but to be able to discuss those practices with an understanding of opposing viewpoints. The assignment will be graded on your ability to respectfully consider another viewpoint that may be in opposition to your own. I think we can all benefit from this, both politically and global health, and just in in our daily lives in our profession. Learning about the reasons for culturally diverse practices are going to help us develop ways to reach optimal patient outcomes. So the goal of this assignment, in a sentence, is for you to understand why people make certain health decisions based on social, cultural, economic, and/or political factors. You do have the option to do collaborative work, but it will be a maximum of 2. So if you want to work with one of your classmates and submit one assignment with both of your names on it, that's great. Just know that both of you will get the same grade. Whether or not you find that it ends up one person is doing more work than the other. So choose wisely, but I love collaborative work. So you can do that. It is an option, only an option. If you don't want to, you don't have to. So you're going to create a 2 to 3 page paper, not including the title and references pages, that speaks to a specific practice. It's one of the 2 harmful practices identified in the UNFPA's website, and that is female genital mutilation or gender biased sex selection, which is also called son preference. You can get more information on these practices by going to that link, and we're also going to go to it in a different way. I want you, for this assignment, read the information about one practice that you selected, one of the 2. I also want all of you to read this one article about 5 things you didn't know about practices that harm girls. You're going to select one peer-reviewed journal article from the library database, and based upon your review of this article and the information above, you're going to write a 2 to 3 page reflection on the practices that demonstrates your understanding, not support, but your understanding of why this practice began and continues. Here's the grading rubric. I'll let you read through that yourself. So what is UNFPA? It's the United Nations Fund for Population Activities. So I'll let you read this because this is part of your assignment. Just this, you don't have to click anything on. Very short definition, but please read so you get a better understanding. Then there is a link that'll take you to their State of the World Population Report from 2020. And you will see that there's 2, and again, this is where you're going to find more information about either practice, whichever one you choose. While the link for the 5 things you didn't know about practices that harm girls is within the above, it's also here. So some of these things are redundant. Here is the searching the library database. Again, it was almost 6 minutes, short and sweet, so I think it'll help, and the Dropbox. So that takes you through what you're going to be doing for the assignment. So that's all within here in this folder. But I've also brought out two of those things that I want to make sure that you're doing this week. The library database video and this world report. So you're going to start your paper by reviewing this information and telling us which harmful practice are you going to do. And then you're going to, so it's going to be one or the other. Then you're just going to tell us why you chose that practice and provide rationale. So you're going to cite, using APA format, you're going to cite why learning about this practice is important for healthcare professionals. So please cite from a source that we had today. I'm not asking you to find that journal article now. If you want to find that journal article now on your practice and cite that, good, you're moving right along. But otherwise, you're probably going to cite the world population report about why that practice is important to learn about. So you see, everything is integrated, so your key points are going to be to read Chapter 7. You're going to take the quiz. That's going to assess your knowledge of that information. You're going to watch a video, and you're going to start on your opposing viewpoints paper and let us know what you're doing. So it shows that you've actually started on it, and that will be due next week. So that's why you do not need to complete that IHA module. That will be in a different learning unit in case you've already done it. Don't worry about that. All right, have a great week.